the cockroach theory. Men just think they're going to be a cockroach. Like, after atomic explosion, only thing surviving is going to be cockroaches. So, like, but men take steroids, they think, I'm going to get through it because he did. But who's he?
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Thomas O'Connor, a lifelong powerlifter, board-certified physician, and published academic author. I've taken care of thousands of men on testosterone and steroids, and now I use my media appearances in this YouTube channel to provide education and harm reduction. Subscribe now so I can help you stay strong and healthy.
The Cockroach Theory with novelist Adrian Nathan West. Right here, guys. This is super cool dude. You're going to learn how I met him today. And then the first question for him is that he created a novel called My Father's Diet, which is really contemporary relationships with a man, a father and a son, and it involves in bodybuilding and even narcissism and things. So Nate, man, good to meet you, buddy. Good to see you here on the channel. This is super cerebral for guys, man. Tell us who you are, what you do, what you're about, and about My Father's Diet.
So my name is Adrian Nathan West. As you said, I'm a writer and translator as well. I translate a lot of books from German, Spanish, and Catalan. And I wrote this novel, My Father's Diet. I also write a lot of literary criticism, a lot of essays. The story of My Father's Diet was really this. So people that know the bodybuilding and fitness scene in the 90s probably know that there used to be this thing called the Body for Life competition, and it was huge at the time. It's curious to me because the guy who put it on, whose name was Bill Phillips, had been known in the bodybuilding underground as a sort of steroid guru, and then he sort of reinvented himself as a fitness guy, and he got kind of all of these dads across America, moms and dads, to participate in a physique transformation challenge. So you got basically a lot of like kind of middle class schleps that one day say, oh, I got to start lifting weights, and they take these before and after pictures. And it was fascinating to me because of the type of people that you had getting into this, you know, people that would just say, oh, I was an alcoholic and I didn't know what to do with my life, or I was a drug addict, or I suffered a tragedy. And I asked myself, well, why this? Why do you go, man, I've had this tragedy, I got AIDS or whatever bad thing happened to these people. I should do a physique transformation challenge. And so I wrote a book about a kid who reconnects with his father. And I think this touches on some of these issues of contemporary manhood. And the father undergoes a really traumatic divorce, and he decides to do a physique transformation challenge like this. And it's about their relationship over the course of this, how the father changes, what he learns, what he doesn't learn.
That's right. So is this your father, by the way? Was it from your...
I can't say that it's my father. I can say that my father had some role in the book, but it's definitely an independent fictional character.
So there's so many men in the world that, that even myself have had, a father that either has not been there present or is had issues, and it's just a normal spectrum. And then when you look in the bodybuilding world, Nate, there's a lot of data that looks at why men use steroids, and there's an impetus there for a failed relationship or some failure or some insecurity, but as a young man with a father figure, figure. But then it's not fully, it's not like every single, some guys on steroids, and even women on steroids, they haven't been raped or abused. And but for me anyway, there's a big bond there where you need this external, use of steroids and PEDs, because you're such a feckless, underneath you're just so damaged from lack of a strong relationship with the father. Okay, so that's it. But guys, what I saw an article that introduced me to Nate, and it was an article in the Baffler called "Steroid to Heaven." Guys, check this out. So when I read the article, first off, I saw that picture, and I said, "Shit, man, where's Greg Valentino?" Love Greg, man. Shout out to Greg, my boy Greg, right? So. And then I thought, how does this guy, Nate, who's not on steroids, if you read the article, guys, very cerebral, incredible article in the Baffler, I was like, this guy's not a steroid user, but how does he know so much about steroids? number one. And number two, like, where are we going with this? You know, so I called the guy up, you know, I contacted him. We spoke a few weeks ago, put our heads together about doing an interview and what's going to come out of the interview. And then as we were talking about it, I said, well, Nate, you don't do steroids. And what do you think this explosion of steroids is? I mean, you're a writer, you're a smart guy, you're a younger, middle-aged guy, you're in this world, you're not doing steroids. He goes, you know, I don't know, but I think one thing that's coming out of this is men don't really seem to think about the long-term risks. And then we got into the cockroach theory. So it's like they don't think about it. And your perspective, the cockroach theory hit me like a steel-toe boot in the teeth. I said, it's true.
Yeah.
Men just think they're going to be a cockroach. Like, after atomic explosion, only thing surviving is going to be cockroaches. So, like, but men take steroids. They don't want to deal with the kidney, the heart. Forget the hair and the gyno and all this. They think I'm going to get through it because he did. But who's he?
Yeah.
A professional bodybuilder, maybe that's in his 40s or 50s. We're not going to talk about names. And like the guy's got an incredible tolerance for tolerating steroids. It appears like his kidneys and his heart are still pumping. But like, so that's like a cockroach where you could pump pro bodybuilders. Forgive me, guys. It's definitely a cockroach theory. They can tolerate the incredible drug use and they keep ticking. At least they're not 27 having heart attacks. Tell us about the cockroach theory.
Yeah, as you said, this was something that we talked about, and it really popped into my head because of a friend I have who is a polysubstance user. And I observed this guy with a sense of wonder because I think, you know, if I lived this guy's life for about a week and a half, I'd fucking die because this is a person who smokes, who drinks, who doesn't sleep, who does all the drugs, who eats pizza, eats hoagies, eats ice cream, and he's fine. Every morning the cockroach crawls out of bed and continues to make it happen. And I started to think about it in relation to professional athletes because increasingly something professional athletes have to face is it's no longer your training regimen, it's no longer your diet. A big question is, how well is your body going to adapt to these drugs? And the fact is, that doesn't really get discussed, and it doesn't get discussed that bodybuilder A might die before he gets his NPC card because his body can't do it, and bodybuilder B might win the Olympia 6 times because his body can just handle it. Some people are cockroaches, and the trouble is you can't necessarily get that test and find out which one you are. You have to roll the dice, you have to take those drugs, and either you die or you don't.
So
you know?
That brings us into the last part of the interview here, the harm reduction ethical side. Yeah. Let me ask you an honest question. What do you think about what I'm doing? On all honesty, good and bad.
Yeah. Well, look, if you think that people should live, and if you think people should live better, and you think that people should be able to try things which people are going to do and not die, then a harm reduction is necessary. Now, I have my doubts about harm reduction, but my doubts about harm reduction are doubts about the culture as a whole. Because the fact of the matter is, we have become a culture where everything is throwaway. So our buildings are throwaway, our cars are throwaway, and you have people now who, instead of viewing their body as a part of themselves that needs to sustain them over 80 or 90 years of life, look at their body and say, this is a tool that I'm going to use to get likes on Instagram. At the point that people have that psychology, you as a doctor are not going to stop them from that. So if they're going to do it, which they very clearly are, and they'll very clearly do even stupider shit if they're given the opportunity, then sure, it's good for people to be there, to take care of those people, to try to guide them, and to at least get them to do something marginally less dangerous.
And I'm looking at your shirt, and I see live free, die free, so I'm agreeing with you. And most people that are going to watch this, I want to, guys, rip out the comments, give us the comments. Please, guys, leave the nasty bullshit comments to the side. This is going to be, this is for progression. This is really libertarianism, right? I mean, the guy's right here. He's not a steroid user. He's an author. He's a free thinker. And like, we're in right now today, steroid use and other use is exploding. Does the government, some people think the government should smack it down and completely regulate. Other people are going to say the far side. And then most of us are somewhere in the middle where fentanyl is not cool. Like, fentanyl's not cool. What do you do about it? But when it comes to steroid use, what do we really do? What does the government do? What does the mother and father do, which is probably the most important?
Yeah, and there's also an issue that I would bring in here, which I discuss a little bit in the article, which is that if you believe in harm reduction, which many people do, I don't think that you get to pick and say, well, this type of drug user I like, but this one's bad. And we see that now. So we see a lot of harm reduction efforts going toward narcotics, but not very much going towards steroids because people go, these ripped dudes, I don't really like these guys. Fuck them. Well, I don't think that that's ethically coherent.
I'm working with some group we can't really name right now, somewhere in Europe, that is really looking at harm reduction and adding drug checking sites, not just fentanyl and meth and all sorts of recreational illicit drugs, but adding steroids. Because if a guy's taking Dianabol or Anavar and it's Dianabol, that's bad for him. Or what if it's contaminated with some horrible agent? And why wouldn't you have quality for the drugs? This is really, really progressive. And again, but it's really interesting with bedfellows politically, who's going to come together on this, because they're not going to be in bed from the base camp. But that's it, guys. Any closing message you have for us, brother?
No closing message, just get out there, read stuff. That's my thought.
We'll see you again, sir. Thank you so much, Nate. Super cool. Guys, give some great comments and check this guy out. This is what you get with the Anabolic Doc app. Number 1, a digital history and physical exam. Number 2, weekly Zoom meetings with me. Number 3, discounted commercial labs. Number 4, weekly member-only uncensored videos. Number 5, Anabolic Doc's mailbag. You can't come to the meetings, or you don't want to come to the meetings, you ask a question. I'm going to respond to your question by making a video, put it back up on the app, and you get to see your own question. Lastly, diagnostic and management library that is easily searchable by keywords.